Greetings, family. Welcome back to my channel. There was a time in my childhood when every time I think about a South African athlete, I automatically think about a white person, right? I grew up watching the Olympics, watching whatever footage our local station was able to get about international sporting events. And every time I saw the South African beach volleyball team or rugby team, I always saw a white person, right? And I didn't know what was going on. I thought in my childhood mind that perhaps South Africa was a country in Africa in which um, this was a white controlled state, or this was like a all white state, right? It had to be an all white state because how is it that a country with millions of black people can produce all white teams that represent them in sporting events, right? And so it was only until I became a teenager and grew up a little bit more, I became a little bit more exposed, I realized that apartheid had taken place. And so a white minority had been exerting brutality and force against our people for decades. All right, family. And so basically, what I would like to say, I've seen a situation taking place in the South African rugby world in which one of their star players, Eben Etzebeth, is being accused of a racial attack on a person in South Africa. All right, it was a racial attack on a black man, and it reminded the South African people about their apartheid era oppression, many of whom had flashbacks of being oppressed by the Boers and being made to live as a second class citizen in their own country. Okay, and basically, what has taken place, even Etzebeth is being accused of using a new racial pejorative. I mean, this is racism 101. Um, it's not too hard to believe that these people would create slang terms to abuse African people. But apparently, there's a new word called hot knot, and to me, it doesn't mean anything, but I'm sure for people who are being abused by the term hot knot, which is being called the HWord, hot knot is actually the new N word in South Africa. And so, this particular rugby player, despite the fact that he represents a country that is in Africa, a country that is majority black, he feels inclined to abuse these people with a racial pejorative. Alright? This is no doubt because of the fact that black people have had the reins of power since Nelson Mandela took the reins of power. And I think that many people in South Africa who descend from the apartheid era abusers, many of them feel like they have the ability to abuse black people with impunity. And I believe he should not be allowed to represent South Africa as a country in any sporting events. I support our people. I support the South African Human Rights Commission, who have said that they do not want him representing their country in any capacity. I definitely concur with them. How can you allow a person who does not respect the people to represent you in sporting events? This is the height of insanity. Um, there should be consequences for these types of actions and these types of statements. If there are no consequences, then we are doomed to repeat the mistakes of history. Alright, family. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about all of these dynamics. One love.